What's going on? What's going on? Yo, I appreciate y'all chiming in once again. You are now rocking with the Spoon Fed Podcast, giving you informative information on the daily, if possible. And we just try to give y'all wisdom and certain things people need to know in life so they won't make the same mistakes as others that I know and even myself. But before we continue, especially on that point, I'm going to let you know what the topic is and what it's going to be and what it will be. What you consume is what you become, and what you allow is what will continue. Remember that. But before we even get to the topic, of course, today's sponsor, you got the Splash Dad Hat, Distress with the Splash logo, and you got the Splash Infamous in royal blue. Woo, I love this shirt right here, Infamous. It got a whole meaning, man. Check out the website, you'll see what we talking about, man. For sure. Got that heat. But if you want to contact me, of course, my name is Spoon, also known as Spoon World or ST Dub for short. You can find my Instagram, my contacts in the description box, along with the merch, splashclothingnyc.com and splashclothingnyc on Instagram. And you'll have my Instagram as well, so don't even worry about that. All corners will be checked. But let's carry on, man. Let's get back to the topic, man. What you consume is what you will become, and what you allow is what will continue. Let's get right to it. Remember, anything that you consume is not just what you eat. It's what you see, is what you hear and listen to, and also the factors of that is who you have around you in your environment that speaking certain topics around you. This is very important. And if you're not liking the way you look, if you feel like you're gaining weight or you're not up to par, just look in the mirror. Or if you feel that you down and stressed for certain reasons, sometimes it's our fault. And not necessarily putting all the blame on us, is what we allow and what we are digesting. You see what I'm saying? What we consuming in our life, what we have around us is a big factor of and a benefactor of what is happening in our life. A lot of people don't see that. But let me just put an example. If you don't like what you see in the mirror, if you feel like you're overweight, whatever, you have to control what you're putting in your body, period. Even if you have a sickness, whatever, I can understand that. We could be light on that. But at the end of the day, you could be sick or have a certain situation, but you have to be disciplined to realize, you know what? I need to take measures in protecting my life and protecting my health and how I look. And with saying that, you have to know, deep down, you definitely got to know, like, certain things that you see, watch on TV, that's actually playing out in your life as well, subconsciously and consciously. So, and it also is training your thoughts. So have you ever seen a picture over and over and over, or a commercial over and over and over, and it's stuck in your mind, like, and you started singing the words like, and you be like, why is that there? Because it's programming. It's programming you without you even know, because now it's stuck on your subconscious mind. But a lot of people don't understand that, man. And to really dive into how you can control and gain control over these mannerisms, whatever you putting in your body, it all starts with when you're young. Nurture versus nature. This goes over a lot of people's head, because when you in nature, right? Nature is your environment. Nurture is what's happening in the home. And it's been proven, and I could testify to this. You are more enthused by your environment more than what's in your household. You are more coerced by your environment. The environment puts ideas on you consistently. So what happens in your environment does reflect on you, and vice versa. But this is the only but behind it. What you learn in the household, your values and your morals, and your daily teachings, your daily teachings is what is going to make you a whole person. And to see if you could slip and waver when it comes to certain desires and certain influences in your environment. Like, perfect example, I'm just glad that I had both parents in a certain way so I could see what to do and what not to do. Because remember, everybody look at parents on what you should do, but you got to look at parents what you shouldn't do. Because parents ain't perfect. You don't get no teacher's guide to that. So you learn your morals and values inside the house, how to be respectful, how to carry yourself, how to talk to people, how to hold your tongue at times, your mannerism. Certain times parents overblow that because they want you to be the best that you can be. But at times you have to formulate those ideals and those morals into who you really are. And that's the next subject, because a lot of people don't even know who they are. And that's come down to it too. And this is why I'm talking about nature versus nurture, because you'll get an idea of who you are. But when your morals and values from your household, you're taught how to love. You see the family structure, but you're more coerced in your environment. And I can attend to that because, like, we are living beings. We're animals at the end of the day. When you're an animal, you want to have camaraderie. You want to have a sense of being. You want to be a part of something, especially in your social and economic environment. A lot of people don't understand that because they don't understand themselves and they don't understand what they like or dislike. But remember, anytime whatever you put in your body, it's going to reflect on who you are. And this is why I tell people, without a doubt, you have to gain discipline. Discipline goes a long way. When you are disciplined in certain situations, you would do things accordingly to what you're naturally supposed to do. And let me give you an example. Like, if you know certain people are not good for you, and you see the warning signs, right? And you're like, yo, I don't like the way these people think, man. They think outlandish, but you still hanging around them, right? You have to be disciplined enough and be like, bro, I can't hang around these people no more. They're not helping me grow. I'm not saying you got to cut them off, but you got to distance yourself, especially in a certain situation that's not conducive to your growth. And I can account to that because it's like, yo, you ever been talking about business or something positive, then you hear other people talking about nonsense or negative. They're talking bad about somebody else and they want to bring you a part of it. And then unknowingly, you might, yeah, yo, I know that person. You entertaining the nonsense. You know what I'm saying? That's going to give you a negative train of thought because instead of trying to build up, you trying to destroy. Remember, two things in life, either you building or destroying. If you're not putting your mind on the right intellect or pathway of energy, you are going to sink with the environment around you. Don't become a product of your environment. Rise above that. You know what I'm saying? I hear a lot of people saying, you know, this is what it is, and like, nah, you gotta understand what you're doing to yourself, because a lot of times people are causing more destruction and harm to themselves than they even actually know. And it's all about, remember, what you put in your body is what you will become, whether it's what you eat, what you see, or what you hear. Because if you continuously put bad food in your body, you're gonna break your system down and you're gonna get sick. The same thing if you keep listening to negative stuff or you keep listening to bad news, that's going to harbor your feelings and technically is going to go to your mind and create negative feelings. The same thing with what you hear. Remember, hearing and listening is two different things. I already had a podcast episode on that. Remember, even if you are around certain areas, right, and you keep hearing negative connotations, if you're not strong enough when it comes back to nurture, if you're not strong enough mentally to block that out, you will start listening to it. You ever been around certain people and then you be like, wait a minute, I don't think like that. Why did I say that? Because of the people you hang around. Like, I'm going to give you an example. If you hang around people that's talking about nonsense all day and is not being constructive, eventually that energy is going to hit your wavelength if you don't know how to separate your ties from that. Period. Subconsciously, if you're just hearing it, subconsciously, remember, subconscious is strong. Your subconscious comes to you at night in certain place where you least expect it. That's where the hearing comes in, because you might hear certain things and you probably might not agree with it, but if you hear it enough, it will sink into your existence. The difference from listening is when you're actually, if somebody's talking to you directly and you're actually observing and trying to understand. If you're not getting good information and observing what's really going on in when you're conversing, you could be in a trap that you don't even realize, because somebody could be coercing you just because they're your friend to think like them, when actuality you might not even agree. It's just that you're consuming their energy and you're thinking it's good because off of just of what their title is, friendship or friend or an acquaintance. And a lot of people ideas, whether you're man or woman, like, are coerced by the people you have around you, especially women, because women are more emotional, men are more dominant in how they feel. But if they're not strong mentally, if they didn't get that strong self-esteem when it came from the nurturing part in the household, they would not know how to stand on their own, be like, nah, bro, I don't know what type of nonsense you talking. And that's the majority of people that I see in the world. They might know the truth, but they're afraid to stand up to see how people feel about them. You see what I'm saying? So it goes a long way. And to get over those factors, because we don't just throw out problems without the solution. You have to know yourself. You have to understand yourself, know yourself. That is a key pivotal situation. You have to understand and sit down and value yourself to understand what's going on in your mental and your physical and your spiritual, because that will definitely tell you what's really going on. And by doing that, you have to see what's wrong. If you ever looked in the mirror, if you ever felt down, you got to analyze why you feeling that way. Ask yourself, what did I eat? And break down exactly, if it's something cheesy or fatty, whatever, that could be the reason why you're feeling down. Because remember, the things that we eat, if you're not getting certain nutrients and vitamins, just like a communication or just like certain things that you see that's not benefiting you, like if you're not reading something that's teaching you something and you just reading nonsense, guess what? If you read nonsense, your mind will become nonsense. If you eat nonsense, your body and your spirit will become that. If you keep listening and hearing nonsense, you will be a negative conductor throughout your life. Life is simple. It's complicated, but it's simple, because the certain simple steps that we use in place can amplify who we are as a being. Let that sink in. And one of the main things you got to do, if you see the problem and you understand the problem, you have to correct it. If you're not correcting the problem, you're just making excuses around the problem, which is going to cause you to become and stabilize as the problem. Do you understand me? You can't have one without the other. When there's a problem, there's a solution. It's just up to you to get to the solution. If you don't get to the solution, my fault, I got a big tongue. If you don't get to the solution, you will inevitably, continuously be the problem. So it all comes down to the decisions you make. And I made an episode on that. If you could just rewind or look at one of my other episodes and look at the decisions we make. Yeah, you have to identify the problem and understand what the problem is. Once you understand what the problem is, then you get to the answer. But the answer is always up to you. Thank you for chiming in. I hope y'all learned something. Remember, what you consume becomes you. Remember that. And what you allow is what will continue. As I just explained, if you allow problems to consistently creep up and keep on going in your life, it's gonna be a snowball effect. So if you knew better, you do better. Stay dangerous, stay wise, and stay above the curve, man. You already know who you rocking with. Spoon Fed Podcast, always giving you something to think about and add to your life so you can progress. Splash.